Hello, this is Dee from Divine Needle, and this is a reading about the progression of your life stages and what to expect over the next 20 years in 5-year increments. Because I believe when I read your email, you're interested in what I could tell you about your path, where it's going. Anyway, so this is the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15, and 15 to 20. Looks like a very interesting life path so far. So let's dig into this. It took me a little while. I was deciding how I wanted to do the placements on these cards. This will at least give you 20 years of possible paths that could be taken. Generally, the energies are pretty dead on. So this will help you know what to expect. So you can kind of prepare, brace yourself, things like that for certain periods of your life. Which, I mean, you can't beat that, for sure. Getting to know a little in advance never hurts. Anyway, the first card you get for this first 5 years is the desert. To me, this is someone in search of answers to the big questions. This is, out seeking your path, basically, to me. And I'm going to read from the Archetypes book for you on this. Part of this may resonate. And so let's begin. The desert, the drought, the wasteland, the badlands. The desert leaves us disoriented, desperate for direction, grasping for meaning, longing for solid ground. For endless miles, we are confronted with a lack of clarity and existential dread. We are thirsty, hungry, pleading with life to get back to normal, to become animated by the simple pleasantries of day-to-day life. The desert offers no such comfort, and all must pass through it. If you can embrace the discomfort of the desert, knowing you will someday reach water again, and yeah, you will, the storm, water, right? You can tap into that potent energy of the landscape. Its lights are blindingly bright. The lightning strike in the following card. And it's dark, terrifyingly deep. It's interesting that you got that progression in the cards too, which makes for unbridled creativity and clairvoyant visions. Truths reside, excuse me, allergies. Truths reside in the desert that otherwise remain hidden. The crows, the shadows, and the coyotes all surround you. Let the winds and sands work their deep magic, weary traveler. When in the light, this card is surreal, strange, unexpected visions and silence. When in the dark, it's drying, deadening, disorienting, and isolating. So, this is going to be you in search of meaning in life. Many of us go through that. That's the overall energy for the 5-year period. You're seeking direction and longing for solid ground. But as it says, It's going to lead you to water and bright light. And it does. It leads you into the storm. But what I'm going to do is take this in increments. So we're going to look at this desert period where you're disoriented and longing for meaning and solid ground and trying to figure out your path. We all go through this, okay? So keep that in mind. We all go through this. So we're going to look at the energies for this 5-year period to see what they have to tell us about it a little deeper on the 5-year period. Can you tell us a little more about this 5-year period for Chris? Tell us a little more about this 5-year period for Chris. See, knowing these things will help you navigate it better, so it's not so hard on you. We all go through it. I've done it, and I think we all go through this periodically anyway, but this is the overall energy for that time frame. So, a little more about this time frame for Chris, this desert, the next 5 years. Okay. Nice. Do you see the way that flipped? You got High Priestess. A little bit more about this energy for the 5 years for Chris. A little bit more about these energies. So we're going to work on these a little bit at a time. Okay. Nice. So we're going to take them in the order that they dropped. The underlying energy for that time frame. New beginnings. This is passion. You're going to be finding your passion during this desert time frame. And that's exactly what that is. When you're searching for meaning and things like that, you will find your passion, what you're searching for. Okay, so that's underlying for right now. So I'm going to center it for now. During this time frame in the desert, the High Priestess card, this is using intuition, but it can also be hidden secrets. There's going to be, okay, there will be wish fulfillment during this time. You have the Ace of Wands. And you're going to find that passion. You will find it. This is the wish fulfillment. You're going to find what you're looking for. The Queen of Wands. This is you going after specifically what you want and using intuition. Once again, the High Priestess energies here with the black cat is symbolic of intuition. This queen goes after what she wants. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It's just the energy. And you will be moving on to calmer waters. Remember what it says? You're going to find the waters. And this card directly leads you into the storm card. The waters and the light, right? This is leading you from rough waters to calmer waters. Okay? So this next 5-year period is just you merely seeking. And that's the card that tells me the transition from here to here. You're going to find your passion. Okay? There will be wish fulfillment, and you're going to go after that passion that you find. Okay? That you seek in the desert. Okay? Wish fulfillment. Moving on to calmer waters. Okay? So now that we know what that 5-year period is all about, I'm going to put these cards like this. Let's fan them this way, over the top. I don't know, you're not going to be able to see those. This transition card was the last one, and I really want you to see the transition from the desert into the storm. And a new beginning. You're going to be this Queen of Wands, going for what you want, this new beginning. Okay. Is there any advice that you can give Chris about... Let's see. I want the cloister. Advice for Chris about navigating this time frame. It tells us what will happen, but I want to ask if there's any further advice for you on this time frame. Any further advice on this time frame for Chris? Further advice on this time frame. I paused for a second because sometimes when they do that, they want me to take it, but they did not. So, further advice for Chris on this, the coming 5 years. Advice for Chris, the coming 5 years in the desert. Advice for Chris, coming 5 years. Okay. Okay. This is, you're going to be juggling a lot, but also maintaining balance. Okay. We're telling you, try to maintain balance. The seas are rough, but do your best to flow with waters of karma and let them lead you to where you need to be. Okay? That's what that's saying. The desert is definitely the Hermit card. Very much the same energy. They're telling you to do a lot of spiritual seeking for wisdom deep within yourself. And you come out with the light of the Star card, which is wish fulfillment, which you have right here in the Nine of Cups. So these cards relate totally. And you'll have the ability to guide others. And Nine of Swords. This is being up in your head. This is nightmares that keep you up at night. The desert can create a lot of that. I think what they're doing is trying to tell you to maintain balance through these time frames. Because you will have calmer waters coming. You're going to be switching into the storm energy. So the things that keep you up at night is very much, again, the energy of the desert. These two, yeah. But I think the main thing is that maintaining your balance and let the waters of karma take you where you need to go. And doing a lot of deep soul searching. I tell everybody that anything that they've ever done wrong or perceived that they did wrong, if they go deep inside themselves and really admit to themselves what it is that they feel like they did wrong and really own it, like, oh, I was such a shit. Why did I act like that? Things like that. It doesn't matter how bad it is. As long as you can fully own it and release it, that lets your inner child out. Okay? And that inner child is this light that lets you shine out to the world. With the inner child as someone who's very playful, someone who knows that nothing is impossible. You know, think about the wonderment of a child when they see things for the first time. When you look at life with that wonderment and nothing is impossible, that's the light you need to come out of this with, okay? And remember what it said, there's going to be waters ahead and light. There is indeed going to be waters ahead and light, okay? So that is for the first 5 years. Now let's get into the next 5 years. So we know what the desert is. We're going to set it over to the side a bit, kind of up above. Let's do that. Now we're going to work on your next from 5 to 10 years out, which is the storm. Here's what it says about the storm. The chaos, the whirlwind, the disorder. Possessing an energy much like the tarot's Tower card, the storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. Remember what I was saying? Let the waters and winds of karma take you where you need to go. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer. No matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom, we can't hide from its savage winds. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. You must wait it out. If you try to fight the storm, you will lose. A better option is to seek temporary shelter and a reliable friend. When all else fails, go within. There for a moment, you settle into the eye of the storm. And this is meaningful obliteration and annihilation. And when it's in the light, and when it's in the dark, it's meaningless disorder and dysfunction. So the energy of the storm. We all go through this one too. And it's just, keep in mind, these are the overlying theme or the underlying theme of your life. You learn a lot of valuable things during these times. So I'm glad that I see these in your path, because you're going to learn a great deal from this going on. Okay, let's set these cards back up here. Okay, can you tell us a little more about this from 5 to 10 years out for Chris? A little bit more about this 5 to 10 years out for Chris. A little bit more on the energies 5 to 10 years out. Okay, feeling left out in the cold. That's very common during the storm. Okay. A little bit more on this energy for Chris. Okay, that's a good one. A little bit more on these energies for Chris 5 to 10 years out. Okay. What have we got underlying? Learning to be clever. Okay. Learning to be clever in this time. You got a lot of cards. They wanted to tell you a lot about this time frame. Okay. We've got reminiscence energy during this time frame. This could be reminiscing about the past. This could be, this is a card of major balance. It is a 6. Notice we got a 6 again, right under it. By the way, this card is a 37. This one is a 47. This one is a 27. Notice something happening? And then we jump to a 19. A lot of 7s going on here. Connection to the divine, the number 7. Just saying. And this card, 37, breaks down to a 1. So that's beginnings, right? And then this card, 47, breaks down to a 2. So you're definitely making progression here, okay? This card, 27, breaks down to a 9. And this card, 19, breaks down to a 1. So you go right back again to the 1 when you hit this one, which is interesting. But we'll go back to these 6s. Reminiscing, equal reciprocity, more hermit energy, more taking the deep dive, looking for that light in your life. You actually find it from doing all this deep soul searching. Equal reciprocity, reminiscence energy, could be children, dealing with children. Major wish fulfillment and healing from this deep dive. You got 2 major arcanas and 2 sixes here. This is also the card of 17, so we have more of the 7s in play here. Interesting. This is the energy of the King of Pentacles. This is seriously grounded energy. Doing all this hermiting work can make one become very grounded. This is the businessman. Wise ruler, good with the spiritual and material world. Very wise. But also feeling left out in the cold. And moving on. Walking away to find your 9th cup. Now it's interesting because you had your 9th cup in this time frame back here. Judgment. Heeding a higher calling. That's what you're doing. You're walking away because there's something more that you're looking for. Heeding a higher calling. So this could be, since it's the King of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, this feels work and family. You're balancing your family, kids, work, the deep dive, wish fulfillment. Yeah, this feels like you are feeling left out in the cold in business somehow, possibly, or in work. Something to do, likely financially, it could be spiritually. So you go out and seek more fulfillment. You want your 9 of Cups back. You want to feel that way again. And you do. You make a judgment call. You heed a higher calling during the storm. So this 5 to 10 years out, you'll probably become uncomfortable to some degree in this time frame with the status quo. What you once had wish fulfillment here may not feel that way anymore because you do a little more soul searching and you feel like there's more out there for you. Wish fulfillment and healing in this department. Feels mostly like business. So you may be doing a career change or advancement in this time frame. And this is learning to be clever, the underlying. Yeah. Just, there is the, this is roguish behavior. Clever yet funny energy. So, the one right under there is rest after a battle. Well, yep, this period is going to be a bit of one for you. A bit of a struggle. But you're going to be clever about it. And rest after the battle. This hermit energy is really important during both these time frames for you. Because it will help you have the intuition and the wisdom to know which direction to turn. Okay? Let's look at it if there's any advice on this time frame. Any advice for Chris for the 5 to 10 year time frame? Any advice for Chris on the 5 to year 10 time frame? 5 to 10. Any advice for Chris? 5 to 10. Okay. A lot of advice. King of Pentacles, repeated card. Be the businessman. Be a wise ruler. This is a very fair, grounded person. Super fair, super grounded. good father figure. He's the businessman. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. The advice is learning what you're passionate about. Once again, that hermit deep dive, right? Learning about what you're passionate about. What grounds your foundation. This is building your foundation. You know, continued work upward, building your foundation. Could be a marriage of one of your kids or yourself, or just building your foundation stronger, which that's the way it feels. Knight of Staves, this is someone that goes after their passion. This is fast forward moving energy. And also the King of Swords energy. So you got a couple of King's energy here. So all that hermiting energy has produced you into a person that's highly intellectual, that uses their intellect to rule their kingdom and make very wise, just decisions. And this king, like I said, fathering energy, businessman, very down-to-earth energy. So you're going to be carrying these energies in this time frame. It looks like you're going to be building on your foundation and going again after what you're passionate about in this time frame of your life. So that's the advice for you. Continue building on that foundation. All right? Use your intellect. And wise business, spiritual material decisions. Okay? That's what they're telling you for that time period. All right. We got that one out of the way. 10 to 15 years out. We have the unseen here. Okay? Well, I shouldn't have moved that. I don't know why I did. But it did. It was meant to happen, right? All right. Putting these over here. Now we're going to talk about the unseen. In this energy, so remember, this is from 10 years to 15 years out. This is the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. This is also your guides. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us. Watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence. Though it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen, the sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from our innermost chambers. So, in this time frame of your life, you're going to be spending a lot more time with those inner voices that you know are not your own. They seem to come out of nowhere and just seem like some random thing that popped in your head, and you're like, why did I think that? Well, it's coming from your guides. Anyway, when in the light, this is clairvoyant guidance, whispers of wisdom. When in the dark, it's dark, looming energy, unwillingness to forgive. But it seems like you're going to be actually honing into your ancestors and your guides in this time frame. You're going to start seeing through the veil. That's how I see it. You're seeing through the veil in this time frame. Let's look some more at this energy for Chris. This is 10 to 15 years out. for Chris. We'll see that more on this energy for Chris. More on this energy. So this advancement leads you to being much more spiritually attuned, is what I'm feeling. Lifting the veil. Lifting the veil. More on the unseen energy, 10 to 15 years out. More on the unseen energy, 10 to 15 years out. Can you tell us more about it? They don't seem to want to. Maybe that's why it's unseen. They don't want you to know about this time frame. Your ancestors, your guides, they don't seem to have anything. They don't want you to know. They really are sticking with the card's energy, the unseen. They, okay. 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 Finally. Oh, the World card. All right. That was the first card out. Second. I gave a whole stack again. Underlying, King of Wands, more. Go out and get what you want energy in this time frame. This is somebody who has your back energy. That's the energy you'll be carrying. So you'll make a very good companion for anyone at this during this time with that energy. Yeah. During this time, you're going to be ending a major cycle in your foundation. You're going to be resting up after what feels like a battle to gain your Ten of Pentacles. So in this time frame that you've switched from the storm into the unseen energy, you will be achieving your pinnacle of life, is what it feels like. You've got a higher, wider perspective on what's really going on down here. And your spiritual, this is interesting. You have the Hierophant and the Empress partnership. These are counterparts of to some degree. Not completely. Usually it's the Emperor and the Empress. But this is both earth energy cards. Once again, we got earth and fire. Lots of earth and fire going on in your readings. Tons of earth and fire. So probably heavy placements there in your chart. Or people you're dealing with around you that are very pertinent. Because tons of earth and fire going on. You've gained a higher, wider perspective on life. This can be about marriage. It can also be about the spiritual. You come to know what that is. More in connection with the guides in the heavens than you ever thought you would be, probably. And really super abundant creative energy. Super abundant and creative in this time frame. Because you're actually connected more with the divine, the goddess, than you ever have been before. The goddess and her 4 archangels. Yep. That's fascinating. So, big changes in your material and spiritual world. Very abundant creative energy. Very abundant. You've come to the pinnacle of your life. And at this point. Yeah. That's interesting energy. Any advice for Chris in this time frame? Any advice for Chris in this unseen time frame? One card. 5 of Swords. This is generally winner takes all type energy. There's no winners to me in this kind of energy. I think the advice is to try not to This can be kind of a know-it-all, because the swords are about intellect, know-it-all energy. Try to avoid that, because you, at this time frame, have gained a ton of wisdom and you do know a lot. But sometimes that can be burdensome to others. So try to keep that in check during this time. Try to share it with others without lording over them, so to speak. Okay? That's your advice. Looks like you got this time frame looks very good for you. All these do. This is all about growth. Okay? So we've got the unseen done. We didn't even use this deck. I just wasn't feeling this deck anyway, and it wasn't necessary for this reading. Alright, the final energy. The animal. That's a 19. Breaks down to a 1. So we've run the gambit, and we're going back to a 1. That's good. You've got a lot of sequencing going on with these cards, which is fantastic. It's really showing your path quite well. Alright. So, we're going to look at the animal. The very last one. This is the beast, the wild one, the she-wolf. Or it could be a he-wolf, either way. We are mammals. The hair on our chest and between our legs remind us so. We try hard to deny our unrefined animalistic nature. Yet through this archetype, we tap into the power and direction. Activating the animal within means reawakening our relationship to nature in the most broad and embodied sense. Drinking from waterfalls, roaring at the moon, opening eyes underwater, eating berries from the vine. The life force of our planet begs us to set down the devices, the constraints, and the social constructs, and remember the warm blood that pulses through our veins. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skin. If this all sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that when Buddha became enlightened, he roared like a great lion. This is gut instinct and primal feelings to me. When in light, this is vital, elemental, alive, and dances. When in dark, it's savagery, pent-up emotion, and lashing out. But I definitely feel like this is vital, elemental, alive. And that because of this, you're losing your connection with the material and returning more to a spiritualistic type of life that's less materialistic, is what it feels like to me. The return to, return to nature. A lot of us go through this exact progression. I know I did. So this isn't surprising. It's very amazing. It looks like an amazing journey to me. All right, can you tell us a little more about this 15 to 20 years out for Chris? It's the animal. A little bit more about this energy. Okay, with the King of Swords. A little bit more about this time frame, 15 to 20 years out. Wow, lots of sword energy. Now see, most of your time was spent with wands and earthly pentacles, coins, orbs, whatever that depends on the deck in this time frame. But now you're switching over into the air energy, which is very, very common when you're in this mode. Okay, lots of cards for you. Woo! And a very good bottom card, the Fool. That's new adventures. New adventures, leaps of faith. Going, yeah. That is amazing energy, that Fool card. And that's a 0 card. Remember we went from a 1 back to a 1? Yeah, that feels very right. Okay, this is the sword of destiny, truth and clarity. This is someone that's moving in that energy. Truth and clarity. You've gone through all this, and you've come out to this huge, magnificent thing of returning to your nature. Truth and clarity is what you're wielding, and you're moving forward in that energy. And you definitely are carrying the energy of the King of Swords. He's highly intellectual, rules with his mind. He's not overly abrupt about anything, very wise about the rulings. He uses truth and clarity to guide him always. You also have the Knight of Wands, a second knight. You're moving forward and what you're passionate about. You have tons of options in front of you in this time frame. It's like, what do I choose now? You know, we change, I change career paths 3 times in my life. So there's definitely probably, you had a career path change here, definitely feeling one here, and that's very common. Don't be afraid of that. Those changes bring more to our life. Even though those changes feel hard, a lot of people don't like change. Just remember that change is good. But you're going to have multiple options here. In this time frame, this is the energy of burning the house down, so to speak. You're going to be going away from this materialistic thing. So you're going to be rebuilding your foundations in this time frame. Based on all the knowledge you've gained over the years, because you're definitely wanting to return to more naturalistic instead of materialistic. This is a huge wish fulfillment time once again for you. It was here, and it is going to be, total wish fulfillment down in this end as well. And the same cards again. You have the 2. You remember, you're going from a 1 up the scale back to the 1. Okay? This is you maintaining balance during any of the rough seas ahead. That's amazing energy. Let's look at your advice for this time frame. This is great. This progression, you couldn't ask for more. This is a really great life path. Okay. And you definitely, it looks like, based on what I'm seeing, you may even be an owner of your own business in this time. If you aren't, you may be switching to that. Anyway, advice for Chris in this 15 to 20 year out. Advice on the 15 to 20 year out. Okay. Threw it at me. This is the pentacle of your life. You've reached a major pentacle in your life. The advice is, this is true abundance in this time frame where you return back to the natural instead of the material. This shows material abundance, but you're abundant because of your wisdom at this point in your life. More than materialistically. This is more spiritual abundance because you're returning from the material back to the spiritual. This progression here between these years is going to be vital for that. So focus on that sort of abundance. Notice the red cross in the middle. That's spiritual abundance. Okay? Complete and utter spiritual abundance. You're going to have a lot of fantastic journeys in this time frame. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time in your life. For sure. Lots of journeys, possible lots of travel. There's a lot to see out in that big world, and when you return to the naturalistic from the materialistic, a lot of people tend to up and sell most of everything they own, downsize seriously, and a lot of them, like people when they retire and things like that, they'll buy like a RV and go travel in the world, or it just depends on what they're in, what they're into. But it looks like an amazing life. At least the next 20 years is going to be pretty darn amazing. And you go through the normal progression. That progression looks great. I don't see anything crazy at all. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you found it profound and something to look forward to. Because these progressions are all needed for you to get to this place. Okay? Anyway, it looks like it really, in general, I didn't see anything bad at all. Nothing. Nothing. It's perfect. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this.